I'm going to describe quarter, quarter, half. Terminology is arbitrary, therefore even though concepts can be identical, the language used to describe the concept is as varied as the language itself. I'm calling quarter, quarter, half cover 6. Almost all coverages I talk about will have a color code as well. Quarters is coded white. There are at least 15 variations of this coverage. Cloud, cut, cone, bracket, hardball, crash, exchange, clamp, Yale, lock, post, slice, zombie, trap, buster. These may not mean anything to you right now, but I will describe the variations in my web clinic and continue to give some sample lessons here as we move forward. The obvious question is, why doesn't each variation have its own coverage name? The reason is that most of the variations apply to the defensive backfield. The linebacker's coverage remains extremely consistent. This is a great advantage because the linebackers have so much on their plate mentally when you consider their run fits and coverage assignments. Cutting down the stress level and making the system easier to digest cannot be overrated. Since the coverage task will be so consistent, they will get many more practice reps, which will benefit their ability to execute game day. Let's look at this animated playbook picture of cover 6. I call this a playbook version in my animation program because of the whiteboard or white paper background. We can easily put the field or the stadium view on there as well. Let's take an inside linebacker, for example. In this case, who I call the Mike linebacker, it's the tight end side linebacker. He's responsible to take the high cut of number 2 and number 3. In the player notes, as we see right here, that's his pass responsibility. His run responsibility is scrape A, which I'll talk about in my Run Fit Web Clinic assignments. The defensive routes, let's call them. So in this case, the red line, let's use the Sam linebacker's responsibility, or his drop is shown right here. We can also give you the drop as far as the actual movement of all the players on defense. In this case, he is the low of number 2 and 3 as far as his pass drop goes. We'll get into specific techniques and how each individual player executes his technique and assignment later on as well. You'll also see, of course, the field notes, the larger of the text here, which describes, for example, the coverage code white. You'll see, of course, the players' labels as far as the Will, the Buck, the Mike, Sam, and our 4 defensive backs. I try to color code the players as well. The inside or the linebacker position is in black text. The defensive backfield position is in blue text. If we want to give you a field version, it will look like this with the regular field markings. If we wanted to take away all of the player notes, field notes, and defensive routes to give you a on-field player's view of the field, we can do that as well. And as we're doing that, we can easily show their drops. That could be a view seen by a quarterback executing his pass progression reads. But it also gives us a sample of the assignments in describing quarter, quarter, half, cover 6.